The problem right now with the way our society is dealing with sexual criminality is that we're entirely reactive. We're not doing one thing to prevent sexual criminality. I want people to become part of the solution by becoming more informed. So part of this show is just listening to the story of the offender and learning from that one experience. But the more important goal of the show is to educate the community, to educate parents, to educate spouses, to educate law enforcement, and everyone else involved. Together we can make a difference. And I think watching the show is where it starts. The vast majority of men who are unhappy in their married lives simply have an affair or get a divorce, or both. Those are particularly messy, huh? And you see a lot of that. But apart from those figures we see in the media who've become known for these scandals, there are lots and lots of men who stay miserably married. And staying miserably married is a prescription for some sort of acting out. Because if I'm miserable, I'm going to want to feel better. All people who feel bad want to feel better. And it's only a matter of time before they end up acting out in some way. And for some of us, it's alcoholism. For others, it's drug abuse. For others, it becomes workaholism. And for some, thankfully the minority, it becomes acting out sexually against a child in the home. People commit sex crimes for a variety of reasons. Sometimes it's simply mental illness. Sometimes it's because they were drunk or they were stoned out of their minds and they weren't thinking clearly. But the vast majority of people commit sex crimes in a pursuit of sexual pleasure. Even a rape, which in recent decades has been called not a crime of sex but of power or of violence, a rape cannot occur unless a man has some sort of arousal going on. If he's not aroused, he won't get an erection. And very few men are aroused to the notion, purely the notion of power. It has to be some sort of sexual titillation that arouses them and takes them to the point where they're willing to act out sexually in order to get sexual gratification. 95% of all sex crimes are going to be perpetrated by somebody completely off the radar, somebody who's never been convicted of a sex crime. Most people who commit sex crimes are not criminals. They are people, especially they are men, who have made mistakes. They are isolated. They don't have love interest in their life. They don't have friends. And they don't have career satisfaction. They don't really have a job that is meaningful to them. The average sex offender is a person who doesn't know how to get his needs met, either romantically or sexually. He is a person walking around with a great deal of neediness, and out of his sense of disempowerment, he acts out in a way of really out of desperation, trying to get his needs met. So when we're looking to see, well, what do they look like? How could I know? We just look for the most repressed members of our society. You know, the one who preaches the loudest is often the most guilty. So that's really what we need to be looking at, is the systemic repression of normal human sexuality and romantic attraction to others. People who are comfortable with those feelings and comfortably managing their needs don't commit sex crimes.